Have you ever questioned the reality of an event, despite witnessing it with your own eyes? In the heart of an arid landscape, on the rugged terrains of Mount Horeb, Moses, a humble shepherd, was tending to his father-in-law's flock. The day was much like any other, filled with the gentle bleating of sheep and the rustling of the wind, but as the sun began to set, casting long, mysterious shadows across the land, Moses noticed something unusual. A bush, ordinary in every way, caught his eye. But it wasn't the bush itself that drew his attention. It was the extraordinary spectacle that was unfolding before him. The bush was ablaze, flames flickering and dancing in a mesmerizing display. But the bush, despite being consumed by fire, remained unscathed, untouched by the destructive power of the flames. The leaves continued to rustle, the branches swayed in the wind, and the fire, though fierce, did not consume. Moses, driven by a combination of curiosity and bewilderment, decided to investigate this peculiar occurrence. He left his flock momentarily, venturing towards the burning bush with a sense of trepidation, curiosity piqued by this enigmatic spectacle. His heart pounded in his chest, his breath hitched in his throat, yet he pressed on, pulled by an unseen force. Was this a trick of the light? A mirage, perhaps? Or was there something more to this spectacle? Was there a deeper meaning behind this fiery display that defied the laws of nature? These questions swirled in Moses' mind as he neared the bush, the heat of the flames warming his face, the light illuminating his path. And as Moses approached, a voice echoed, halting his steps, and a divine conversation began. This was no ordinary bush, no ordinary fire. This was a divine manifestation, an enigmatic encounter that would forever change the course of Moses' life. But that, dear listeners, is a story for another time. Scene script. Ever wondered what it would be like to have a conversation with the divine? Imagine the scene. Moses, a humble shepherd, standing before a bush ablaze with divine fire, yet not consumed. And from the fire, a voice, not just any voice, but the voice of God himself. God begins by introducing himself. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is not a new deity, but the very same who has watched over the lineage of Moses, a constant presence throughout their history. God acknowledges the suffering of the Israelites in Egypt. Their cries for help have not gone unheard. He sees their affliction, hears their groans, and is well aware of their oppression. This is a God who is not distant or detached, but intimately connected to the plight of his people. Then, God reveals his plan. He intends to liberate the Israelites, to remove them from the land of their suffering and lead them to a land flowing with milk and honey. This is not just about freedom, but a promise of prosperity, a future filled with hope. But what role does Moses play in this divine plan? God has chosen him, Moses the shepherd, to be the instrument of this liberation. Moses is to go to Pharaoh and demand the release of the Israelites. Imagine Moses' disbelief, his fear. He is no prince, no warrior, just a shepherd. Yet God assures him, I will be with you. Moses, a humble shepherd, was to become a leader, a liberator. But how would he convince his people and the Pharaoh? Can a simple staff transform into a serpent, or a healthy hand become leprous in an instant? In the realm of the divine, the ordinary can indeed become extraordinary. As Moses stood before the burning bush, he was given 2 signs by God to prove the divine mandate he was about to undertake. The first was his staff, a common shepherd's tool, turning into a snake. Imagine that. A humble piece of wood, suddenly writhing and hissing, alive with divine energy. This was not a trick of the light or a dream, but a tangible demonstration of God's power working through Moses. The second sign was even more personal. Moses' own hand, healthy and strong, became leprous instantly. Then just as quickly it was restored to its original state. This was not a punishment, but an affirmation. A clear sign that God's power could bring about change in the most unexpected ways, even in our own bodies. However, despite these awe-inspiring signs, Moses hesitated. He was not a man of eloquent speech, and he feared he would not be able to carry out his divine mission effectively. But God, in his infinite wisdom, had a solution. He appointed Aaron, Moses' brother, to be his spokesperson. Aaron, known for his eloquence, would be the voice of Moses, and together they would lead their people to freedom. These signs were not just demonstrations of God's power, but also symbols of the mission Moses was about to embark on. The staff turning into a snake represented the transformation Moses himself would undergo from a humble shepherd to a great leader. The leprous hand symbolized the plight of the Israelites, their suffering under slavery, and their eventual healing and liberation. Armed with divine signs and a mission, Moses set off to free his people, but the journey was far from easy. The road ahead was filled with challenges and trials, but with God's signs as his guide, Moses was ready to face them. And that, dear listeners, is a story for another day. What lessons can we draw from a bush that burned but was not consumed, and a shepherd turned liberator? In the heart of the wilderness, Moses stumbles upon a spectacle of a bush aflame, yet not charred. This enigmatic encounter marks the beginning of a divine dialogue, a conversation that would forever change the course of Moses' life and the fate of an entire nation. The burning bush, an extraordinary phenomenon, serves as a symbol of the divine presence, a testament to the mysteries that lie beyond our human understanding. From this we learn the power of faith, the ability to believe in what we cannot see, touch, or fully comprehend. The divine mission entrusted upon Moses was no small feat. He was to liberate the Israelites from the heavy chains of Egyptian oppression. The task was daunting, the road ahead strewn with obstacles. Yet Moses, a humble shepherd, accepted this divine calling with unwavering courage. Here lies another lesson: the audacity to face adversity, to confront our fears and doubts, and to venture into the unknown, armed with nothing but faith and determination. The signs bestowed upon Moses, the staff-turned serpent, the leprous hand restored, were not just miracles to convince a skeptical Pharaoh, but also reminders of the divine power that stood by Moses. These signs reiterate that when we are on a divine mission, we are never alone. The universe conspires with us, empowering us to achieve what may seem impossible. In essence, the story of Moses and the burning bush is a treasure trove of life lessons. It teaches us the value of faith, the courage to face adversity, and the transformative power of a divine calling. It reminds us that ordinary individuals like Moses can achieve extraordinary feats when guided by a higher purpose. The story of Moses and the burning bush serves as a beacon of faith, courage, and divine purpose, illuminating our paths through the most challenging